Welcome back. The Public Protector wants the SABC Board to act against its acting Chief Operations Officer. In a report, Thuli Madonsela has found that lies, abuse of power and purging of staff are rife at the public broadcaster.
She largely blames COO Claudia Naidoo-van der Merwe, saying he is underqualified and overpaid. The report, titled "When Governance and Ethics Fail," indicates Naidoo-van der Merwe lied about his qualifications. He also received a 63% salary hike in the space of 12 months.
The SABC Board was found to have allowed the irregular salary increment for Naidoo-van der Merwe and other senior staff members. Madonsela says Naidoo-van der Merwe is also guilty of abusing his power by purging senior staff. She says millions have been wasted on employee settlements. Madonsela recommends that all money spent unlawfully be paid back.
Thinking of resigning? No.
We have not yet calculated the full amount that was spent on Mr. Mutsaling and all of the others that we consider to be irregular salary increments. You've asked, rightly so, whether we require him to pay back the amount. In a way, that should be one of the possible outcomes.
To discuss what people put in their CVs to make them more attractive, on the from our Johannesburg studio, actually, Claudia van der Merwe, Marketing Manager for Managed Integrity Evaluation. Claudia, good afternoon. How common is it for people to lie about qualifications?
Good afternoon, Bafra. Thanks for having me. You know, it's much more common, I think, than what we all realize. On average, 1 in 5 individuals actually lie on their CVs. These lies range from omissions to flat out putting a fake and false statement on the CV, claiming to have credentials and experience that they might not necessarily have.
Would you say that CV fraud or lying about qualifications is more prevalent in the corporate world?
You know, we at MIE have been doing background screening now for 25 years. We've come to realize that that assumption is one that just cannot be made. Fraud is clear across all industries and across all sectors. One cannot easily identify one industry to be more prevalent with fraudulent CVs than any other.
What's the biggest lie that people tell, Claudia?
Oh, the lies range from something small like not admitting to having credit defaults when it is a requirement of the position, claiming to have certain forms of driver's licenses to get the job. And then naturally, the most common one is obviously the qualifications, producing of falsified certificates to the employer to back the fact that he or she claims they have their matric or even their PhD.
Claudia, any advice for HR practitioners on how to spot fraud in a CV?
Oh, yes. Well, that's an interesting question. We at MIE believe that there is no way to spot a falsified CV. The best way to do it is to let the professional background screening companies out there check those CVs for you. Nowadays, it is so easy for people to do this. You know, we rather encourage organizations to have policies in place that allow them to access this candidate's information, policies in place that allow them to act should they have found that the CV was indeed falsified. That is the advice that we at MIE would rather give companies out there than to advise them to spot it themselves.
When someone brings you, or a company brings you a CV that they're not so sure about, what's the first thing that you check?
The first thing we check is by going directly to the source. We believe solely in source of information. We go to the institution that the candidate claimed to have obtained his or her degree from. We have processes in place that make access to this information a lot easier. MIE owns a database called the National Qualifications Register. It's an amazing database with over 3.5 million graduate records available to our clients at the click of a button, confirming that candidate A did in fact obtain his BCom, say through UNISA.
Claudia van der Merwe there from Managed Integrity Evaluation. Thank you for your advice and your time this afternoon.